talk about it. And so that's really where this journey began for me. Started with the clothing line. It started with me not wanting to look like the male dominant veteran that wore black jackets and Levi jackets with patches and the ball caps that said World War II. And I was like, wait a minute, that does not define me. There's no femininity around that. So I created something for me and I started showing up with it, and people would ask, hey, where'd you get that hat? Where'd you get that dress? Where'd you? And then it just started with a clothing line. And then last year, it came to this book project because I wanted to get more women that not only served in the military, but military spouses, family members. One of our dear co authors is a service organization director over 3 states. And when she joined the project and talked about some of the experiences that she's had with females that are in deployment status, then I knew that it was going to be a win-win. So that's really where the journey became for me.
Well, it's interesting that you say that many women did not talk about it or celebrate it as much as they did the sororities. And do you think that that was more of them being having a struggle with celebrating, or more so that it wasn't trending? Because most of the time we follow after things that are trending, and people are really promoting it, and it's the thing now. So a lot of times, if it's not the thing now, they don't really do it. So, has it been that it's not been celebrated? Or do you think it really has a lot to do with the experience?
Both. Some were from negative experiences and they wanted to put those chapters and years of their lives behind. Others, it was lack of embracement from our civilian counterparts. Now, our
Mhm.
men, they're going to tell you, oh, yeah, I served and I
Yeah.
was here, there, wherever. They're going to have that conversation. But our females are still not yet equally accepted or embraced. And sometimes I find that perhaps they'll shy down that, yeah, I served as and I'm not going to say who, but when I found out that one of our authors, I had met her many years ago at a veteran conference, and then I reconnected with her about a year and a half ago. We were in a veteran entrepreneur program together. And one day I was reading her bio, but I never heard out of her mouth that she was a warrant officer. That is far and few between. But I know that our men will talk about it. So it's also that acceptance that if I go into a corporate job, well, I'm probably not going to be the senior ranking person, or I'll probably have more experience, and they really don't want to hear that from me. So different variables, but I would say each and every one of those are contributing factors as to why we don't talk about those experiences, and we don't talk about them enough.
Hmm. Hmm. Men have a tendency to be more unified, especially when it comes to their groups. They have a tendency to be more prideful, to be more forthcoming with them. Even when you think about the Masonics, right? They are very proud of their line, and all of the secrecy that goes along with that, and the honor that comes from it. Women have a tendency to shy back. I think it was one of okay, she's not in it. Hemingway, who shares about the two supervisors that she has that attacked her, and then I think it was who was it who shared, even Dr. Jerry, who she shared about being attacked by another woman. We have the tendency to do that to one another, which is something that we need to address. We need to address more and more and expose women. I hate to say it, just expose them. It's wrong. It's just wrong behavior. And we need to start loving each other as women a lot more and putting aside our differences. What I've been hearing a streamline of and consistency of is that we are to complement, right, and not compete, right? Compliment, not compete. And so I just want to do a round robin talking. I want to start with Big Man. I want her to say hello, Michelin, to our audience. Then I'm going to go to Kathy. Just say hello to the audience. Give a little bit about yourself. Talk to us about your dressing also tonight.
Hello, everybody. My name is Micheline Bigman. I'm an enrolled member of the Apsalaga Nation. I am Native American, and the outfit that I have on is actually part of our color guard uniforms. Native American Women Warriors is recognized as the first all-female Native American color guard, and then we switched over. We also not switched, but we're also a 501c3. And in caveat of what Vaughn said, it's just the fact that women, especially amongst Indian country, weren't really recognized as service members. So I've always been one to be that voice for it. And then not only while I was in the military, but when I stepped out of the military, and I didn't stop. So it's just kind of letting everybody know. And if you look at the logo in the back, it just kind of represents, Native women. We were the homemakers, the providers, we're the nurturers, but we're also the fighters as well.
It was such a privilege to read each one of your stories. Just having early access. It was such an honor because there's so much respect. There's so much appreciation and humility that comes from just hearing each one of your stories and your triumphs. And so I just want to share, Kathy, would you introduce yourself to our audience, say a little bit about yourself and
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. And my name is Kathy Mackey. I am a retired veteran of 22 and a half years in the United States Army. I am a mother of three and Gigi of two. I currently work I currently work for a nonprofit where we empower veterans to continue to serve outside of the uniform. So I am just excited to be here and share my story.
Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. And yeah, I'm telling you, just being able to connect and to have that early access is just, it's just a beautiful thing. I mean, I'm a civilian, so me being a part of this project is very different from me in the sense that the things that you've gone through, the experience, of course, is different because you're in combat. Some of you have faced it. You're in a different environment, different circumstances, but similar trials and tribulations in regards to oppression, in regards to being an African American woman and being in an all male Caucasian environment, and really having to like lean in myself and finding that way and being able to survive it with my mind, my emotions, and my self-esteem still intact. I'm going to move on over to Nita. Nita, would you just introduce yourself to our audience, share a little bit about yourself?
Thank you so much, Marissa. I'm Nita L. Chase. I am God-fearing, God-loving. I have three amazing sons and one beautiful goddaughter. I am an attorney most of the time, but sometimes I'm a judge as a family master, special master judge in Harrison County, Mississippi. And it's my pleasure to be here with you tonight.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And now, Angela, I just want you to say a little hello to our audience.
Hello, good evening, everybody, and thank you, Marissa, for having us tonight. I'm Angela Van, and I'm that retired warrant officer that Vaughn was speaking of earlier, and I did 20 years in the Army, and I currently now reside in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I own and operate a child care facility. So that's a little bit about me for now.
Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. That's a big change from the military. So that's an adjustment. Felice, you're up.
Good evening. My name is Felice Kelly Gillum, and I bring greetings from the beautiful Mississippi Gulf Coast down here with Nita. It's raining and storming pretty bad here now, so not so beautiful, but of course, God's work is always right on time. I am the executive director of USO Gulf Coast. We are a nonprofit organization that provides programs and services to our nation's military. And as Vaughn indicated, USO Gulf Coast is responsible for 3 states. We're in the state of Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama. And it's such a privilege to be able to serve our servicemen and women and their dependents during a time that's so critical while they're serving their country.
Oh, awesome, awesome. And Nicolette, we need you in the house.
Well, Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Marissa, for having us. My name is Nicolette Hemingway. I'm a retired commander from the U.S. Public Health Service. I'm a wife of almost 35 years, a mom, and a GG. And I am currently living in South Carolina. I'm a Myrtle Beach, South Carolina native, and I own a business called Nike H Speaks, which we do career counseling services, resume writing, interview preparation, different kind of things so you can look and show your best during interviews.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So, folks, please take notes because they're telling you some of the things they do outside of the anthology. And so, you want to make sure that you're connecting with them on that front. Ladies, if when you get a chance, just drop in the private chat for me your contact information. I'm going to drop it in our public comment section so folks how they can get in touch with you and stay connected with you. Denise is in the house. How are you,
Hello.
Denise? Yeah,
I'm
just introduce yourself, say hello to the folks, to our audience.
I'm Denise Bridget. In the book, you'll see me as Denise Thompson Bridget, and I am a veteran of 20 years, and glad to be in this show.
Oh,
Thank you for
awesome.
having us.
Yeah, this is an awesome time. And I'm praying
Yes.
that with this movement, with there becoming such a strong voice in regards to women veterans, that things change, that you guys begin to have celebrations on a regular basis that are not just gone unseen, that they become seen, so folks can really begin to celebrate your work. People take for granted, I think, what it takes to make sure that our country stays safe. All the work that goes behind the scenes that make sure that we do have a voice, that even though there are those who try to oppress us, there is a voice that says, yes, we can. There is an avenue by which we continue to speak up. And so I'm so excited that we're bringing so much more attention to this and awareness to us. And I think, Vaughn, you said earlier, isn't it how God works that this book would be dropped in Black History Month as we are making history in bringing the women veterans to the surface so that they can be celebrated, so that they can receive the honor and they can receive beauty for their ashes, right? Beauty for your ashes, because your work was not in vain. The work that you did to serve us, and for those who came alongside of you to serve us as well. And so I just want to give our audience just a little insight about your story. I know that we've been talking about it. We're going to talking about it again some more tomorrow because we're going to launch tomorrow. Right, ladies? Are we going to launch? Like, are we launching tomorrow?
Yes.
Are we?
Oh yeah, we're launching tomorrow.
Yes.
All right.
It's going down. It's going down. That's it. Party's over. That's it. That's it. Party's over. And so I want to share because you know what? The scripture is very clear. Be not weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you what? Faint not.
Faint
if you
not.
don't lose hope, if you don't give up, we can do this thing. And so many times we give up before we get to the finish line. And I just want to say my hat goes off to you for staying in there, for holding in there and keeping it up, because we're gonna face challenges. There are gonna be challenges, but we got to come up under our leadership, the visionary, and we got to see them to the finish line. So I want to kind of switch up gears. I'm going to get you, Felice, to share your part of the book, and then we're going to go back around and just a little bit, not giving away everything about it. Just what made you, what really spoke to your heart about staying the course with this project when it was becoming challenging, et cetera, et cetera. What about your piece made you stay? Because I always say your why must make you high, because your why, if it makes you high, you're going to hold on to it and make sure that it happens. What is that thing that you had, Felice, with this project that said, no matter what, I'm staying the course to make sure that this happens?
Well, two things. One, I've gotten to know Vaughn very well over the past year. And from the very beginning, I was kind of like a kindred spirit to her. I felt her heart, I felt her spirit, and I knew that she was in my life for a reason. And so it could have been 5, 10 years that it took the project. I knew that I wanted to be a part of it and her greatness and seeing her bring this project to fruition. So that's the first component. Secondly, working for the United Service Organizations, of course, better known as the USO, sticking it out and being resilient for our service members in their path, whatever that might be, is what we do. So every day of my life, I literally am there to walk alongside with our service members and their families. And sometimes that takes a while, you know, when we're doing advocacy and when we're fighting for their rights. And when we're there to hold their hand or give them hugs when their spouses are deploying, or when their children make them become families of the fallen. All of these things, the resiliency of the USO has become to be over the past 81 years. Tomorrow, actually, we celebrate our 81-year anniversary.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it didn't matter. Yes, it didn't matter for me how long it took for for the book to come to fruition, because I knew that it was coming, because it was divine and it's something that was sent from God. And also, like I said, it's just who we are and what we do. It's to stick it out for our service members and to let them know that we're always by their side.
Well, I'm going to say something to you, Felicia. My heart was really connected with you when I read the story when you first started out. I'm not sure where the story started out in your startup of the career, but you talk about a mom who had to separate from her child. And then you talked about the challenges of that separation, of her having a desire and a need and an innate trait that says she's compelled to take care of her newborn and that whole journey. And so when I read your piece, it was just like, oh my God, the compassion, the empathy, the connectivity that she has for the heart of this mom, and making sure that you didn't just do your job, that you went above and beyond, you know, because sometimes we deal with people, they're so cold and they're so focused on just doing their job that they miss the compassionate humanity side of it. And so when I read your piece, it was just like, I have a busy schedule. And so for me, it's just like, get it done, get it done, get it done, get it done. And so what you did in your story was like, oh my God, look at her heart. Look at how she really, really cares, and how she really wants to make sure that, that this mom can also go serve our country and be at peace. Right. So even with the refrigerator and the whole thing is just like, oh my gosh. So just amazing to be able to share with that. And I know that our readers are going to really, really appreciate your heart behind your story as well. And so, Nita, will you share with us just a piece of your why, that high that made you just driven to be here today, that's gotten you here in the sea? It's late night. We need to go to bed. And you're still really ready. You just told your story. And so now you're here sharing it again. Tell me your why. Why are you here?
Number one, I really believe God's hand was all over this project. And so when I met Vaughn, she was so passionate about equality for women veterans and bringing them to the limelight, highlighting their stories. And I fell in love with her passion because I'm a poet. I'm so passionate about poetry, and I just connected with her spirit in that. So since God was in it, I became passionate about her vision and walking through this journey with her. And I believe that the world needs to hear these stories, and that her war too, I don't want it to be the untold story. I want it to be the told story, and that women veterans get that glory.
And that more are done on the administrative and the legislative side. That more is done. That our country, the lawmakers, those who enforce, the officers that hold their position, hear the voice loud and clear
Yes.
that says, "This is our war too, and that they understand that that change has to come, that it has to come. The more, and just like Michelin is saying, that she's gone back to school. She's like, she's driving herself crazy over there saying, why? But we also know why, because you got to know the law. You got to know how to, you got to know how to come after them with their own language and the same laws that they have set in place and use them against the underdog. You now have to use it against them to redeem us. And so I want to move right on into Michelin, since I went in that direction, to say, here she's back in school. She's asking herself why, but there's a reason why. There's an order to things. So Michelin, share your a little bit about your why. Why did you stay the course, or when did you come in, etc.?
It was I'm not gonna lie, it was Vaughn. Me and her did an event together, and then after that she just kept reaching out. And like I say, sometimes God puts you on a path that sometimes you have to obey and be obedient, because God has a lot of positives. And then we share the same passion in regards to let the world know, especially the United States, know, hey, us, you know women, we fight too. I mean, look at how many that we've lost. I lost my sister Lori Paesto when the war first started. So I mean, it's like a lot of times we're just kind of more or less forgotten. And as a Native American, I feel like I'm even more so forgotten, because of the fact that we're not really mainstream American. I'm not white, I'm not black, I'm not Hispanic, or I'm not Asian, but I'm a race that's constantly, I feel like, is constantly forgotten. So this is my way of bringing that voice. I was always told, use your voice where it can be heard. And sometimes, like they say, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And with Vaughn, like I say, I love her passion. I think there were times when I just felt like, maybe I'm not on the right road. There's been a lot of struggle with just what I'm doing in regards to my organization, because like it was stated before, how women, we need to come together and use that camaraderie versus how the men keep each other going. And I've had a lot of my ups and downs, but like I say, Vaughn, she's very persistent. I think she was at a point where she caught me where, and I was like, well, maybe I'm just, not going to continue it anymore. Maybe I should just put it off to the side and seek something else. And then she just kind of sparked that fire again. And then on top of that, I'm starting my second master's, but it's in tribal law, and it covers so much areas in and outside the Native American government, and how we've worked and what we've went through, where I could be that stronger advocate, because now I've got the skills and the know-how and the knowledge and the history behind it for not only just Native Americans, but just veterans, because we also cover that as well. But yeah, I have to honestly say thank you, Vaughn. And she was the one that was like the kick in the pants. Come on, we can do this.
Right. And so this is the deal. My people perish for a lack of knowledge. You don't know how to fight back. We're very emotional, but we also have there's reasoning behind our emotions. We're emotional because we're passionate. We're passionate and we want to see a difference. We're not emotional because we just want to be emotional. We are emotional because we're very passionate about what we're presenting and we want it to be recognized. And I am charging you women, we have got to love each other like no one's business. All of this, trying to do this passive aggressive, hit you there. No, see, I'm not that sister. I don't like it. I don't want to see it. I'm going to call you out on it. I'm going to call you out on it, because we need a change. And it's only going to come when we come together and begin to love each other and recognize we're a force to be reckoned with. Mm-hmm. That's what her war 2 means, is that we are a force to be reckoned with. We didn't sign up because we were cowards. We signed up because we knew we could get the job done, right, ladies? We could get the job done. And so we here and we ain't going nowhere, and you better recognize, right? So Kathy, you're up. Talk to me about your why. Why did you stay here? What was the driving force behind it? Talk to me.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, I must concur with what everyone else is saying. It's really I knew that the time that it was great alignment. I met Vaughn maybe a year ago in passing, just with our organizations. But then when she approached me about the book, I knew that there had always been a story inside of me, but I had that fear of not doing it by myself. So it was like, this is my baby step. I'm going to stay and walk through this with Vaughn. And she is the type of person where she's compassionate. She's passionate about what she's doing. She's compassionate about what's going on. She'll call and check on you. So I have to agree. It's Vaughn. She's very persistent. She's loving. She's kind. She reminds me of a big sister. So I wasn't going anywhere. I was never going anywhere. So that's why I stayed.
Oh, that's beautiful. And just so you guys know, Kathy has a two-part story. She got story one and story two. So you got a 2-for-1 with her. You got a 2-for-1 for her. So Angela, you are up. What was your why? What made you stay committed to the end?
Well, what made me stay, my why is it's the same as with everybody else. It's Vaughn, her passion. And it was meant to be because like she had stated before, we had met and knew each other because we were in a conference, another military veteran conference. And then years later, okay, we circle back again, and then we really, bonded, got to know each other, and she started, expressing what she wanted to do, and it just sound, is really well, just good, and you want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of it, and I want to tell my story, and that's what she said. Girl, you don't went through that. You're a warrant officer. You did that. You let everybody know. And so letting everybody know, telling our story, it's not going to only, good for us and for us getting it out, but it's going to help somebody else also.
Awesome. Yeah. Because it's not about us. Like we've gone through it already. So we've gone through it. We know how to go through it. And now it's time for us to show someone else how to go through it. So our stories and actually our service is not, it cuts both ways, but it's not for us. It's really to be a blessing to someone else. It's really to encourage someone else. And it's really to shame the shame, right? So now when you speak about it, you talk about the pink elephant in the room, you silence it. It has no power anymore, right? It has no authority anymore. It can't hold or oppress anyone else down because someone now knows that they are not the only ones that have gone through it. Someone else has. And someone didn't let it keep them from going forward. And so, yeah, our stories are not ourselves. And I tell you what, I remember when I published my first book, I felt naked after I published it because I talked about my story. I talked about my marriage. I talked about the challenges I had. I talked about the bad choices I made. You know what I mean? I talked about the bad choices. I talked about my family life. So I was naked. I was naked for people to what? Judge. But I had to what? Own it. You on the own it platform. I had to own it, the good, the bad, the ugly, and indifferent, so that I can move forward with my life. And then I could show other people who came alongside me, who heard my story, heard my message, so that they can move forward too. It's so compelling when you really have a desire to help someone else. You can't even hold your story back because God has called you to come forward so that others can be set free. So Denise, talk to me, girlfriend. What made you stay the course?
Oh, I'm just like everybody else. Vaughn is so persistent, and she and I really resonated with each other. We met about 8, 9 months ago, and we had so much in common. I even heard some new information tonight on the other broadcast that I didn't know, that I had the same testimony. So I stayed the course because, like Kathy, I knew I had a book in me. I was in the midst of writing one, and I'm almost finished with it now. But I stopped to take this on because I didn't think I was going to ever get it done. And I've been at it a long time. So this was like a 1,000 words, and I can get it in a book and be a co author. I jumped on the opportunity, and I am just glad I did. Now, I must say, you said the other night the same thing, that you were naked when you wrote it. My chapter puts me out there. I am completely naked after I wrote it, and but I did not realize that Vaughn was the person she is. So it's been traveling from place to place and people to
Wow.
people. And I did not expect that. So I was ready to snatch my chapter out the book
Oh, oh,
because I'm so naked and vulnerable. But I must say, the other book that I'm writing is about shining your light and letting it shine so other people can see it. So that's what this has done for me. I
yeah.
do see where people need this, and it has to do with overcoming sexual trauma. So I'm a survivor. So people need to know that. And that if I can survive, they can too. So I'm glad I stayed the course. I got it done, and it's coming out tomorrow. We're excited about that.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you, I had the ability to check it out before it comes. Denise's story is very, very, all the stories are very,
Oh,
very, very good and very relatable. Anyone reading this, whether a veteran, and I said this in the other show, whether a veteran or a civilian, can benefit from the trials, the tribulations, the trauma, the drama, and the victory. They can benefit so richly. I saw a piece of me in every single story. I mean, there was not one of the stories that I read. And I do, Michelin, I have a strong heart for the Native Americans. You guys, strong heart for you. Have no idea the level of respect and appreciation and value I have of what you do. That's why your dressing tonight just speaks hearts to me, because it just speaks to the diversity, but we are all the same. We have the same heartbeat. And so that speaks tremendously to me. Nicolette, can you share with your why?
Sure. I know it was a divine appointment, a divine connection with Vaughn. Shoot, one night, I think we talked like 2 or 3 hours. We prayed together, we cried together, and you really felt, her passion and what motivated her to put this anthology together. And myself and the other co authors, we all have a story that needs to be told because it will help someone else. We've already experienced it and we triumphed through it, but someone else could be in our same position and they need this encouragement. They need to know that, this too shall pass and your trial will become a triumph. Your test will become a testimony. Your cries will become, a chorus, a song to God of victory. And, not only did we go through it, we were actually victorious over our circumstances and we didn't let our circumstances keep us down. A lot of us has faith in God, trust in His ultimate plan, and so I look that Vaughn really looked at God's ultimate plan for us to share our stories, whether we're veterans or spouses or just affiliated with the military, because we do have compelling stories.
Yeah. I just, and just reading Nicolette, reading your story was just like, oh my God, and then all you went through it and how you went to, you had to have someone else tell you to fight. Like, right. So just an example, I read all your stories, right? So you can just really, really see, people will read and say, how would I handle something? And then see how you all handled it in your own ways, and then to find their way through that process. And so this has just been such a major, I'm so excited. I'm going to let our visionary come in and close us out because we've been here for a good 30 minutes. I want Vaughn to share and kind of close us out. I mean, there's so much. We're going to be talking some more tomorrow night because we're going to be celebrating, right? We are going to be celebrating.
Yes. We've got Celebration Friday all day tomorrow, kicking off with our release. So we'll all be sharing out the link to join us during our Amazon #1 best-selling international. I say international. Many of you have connections with individuals that are in foreign countries. Reach out to them. Wake them up tonight. For most, it's probably nighttime, early morning. But let them know we need them on. We need to purchase so that we can be in every category. You won't get the answer if you don't ask. And this is the thing. I'm just wanting to go all in. I want to go all in. The more categories that we're assigned to, then guess what? The more people that you're given that potential to reach. So don't be shy about it. Hey, let them know. I've done the work. I have been vulnerable and I want to be able to help someone else. So yeah, we're sharing out tomorrow starting at 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern time, and that will be for 1 hour for our Amazon #1 best-selling author. This time tomorrow, that's what they're all going to be saying, right? I'm a #1 best-selling author. Yay! Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on Facebook, Instagram, Clubhouse, or whichever other platform I can find to blow our trumpet. Because, see, that's something else, Marissa. We don't toot our horns enough. We really don't celebrate ourselves enough. And I want to get behind these women, and I want to celebrate. And this is the thing. Kathy said, I knew it was a story in me, but I didn't want to have to do it alone. It ain't no fun doing it by yourself. Oh yeah, you can write the book, but guess what? No, isn't it so much better doing it with somebody else? We shop together, we eat together. Hey girl, what you doing? Look, I'm in this and I want you to. I didn't want to do this by myself because I know there are hundreds of millions that have gone before me. And it is so fitting that this is Black History Month. Because when I learned the story of Harriet Tubman during the Civil War, that was part of the courage I had. She didn't get paid, right? How many lives did she go back and risk her life for? And that's what I want this to be, a tool. I want it to be a place of advocacy. Our military branches have not changed. When you come to narcissistic leadership, it's still there. So how about we, and this is something that's on my heart. And I haven't said this, I don't think I've said it enough. We can look at the murder capital of the world, whether that's Chicago, I think St. Louis is in the running, that's my hometown. We can look at Biloxi, Gulfport, Lancaster, Texas, Houston, Texas, and see that these young ladies need to have choices. Atlanta, North Carolina, South Carolina, I don't care what community you're representing. You know that our young women need to have better choices and come off these streets, right? The military, any branch is, I'd say the Air Force is the premier branch. I'll stick to that. But any branch, that they are in the struggle. Let's help them get out of that struggle. But now don't leave them by themselves. Don't let them just go and sign up. Yeah, I swear, our firm to, protect against all enemies, foreign, No, let me tell you what to do when you're ridiculed or when you're written up, when you're not the opportunity. Excuse me. To speak up. You're in an all-male dominant environment. How do you brace yourself? How do you walk through that so that you're not considered to be a victim? Just all of it. We've lived it. We've got the scars. We not only have the stories, we have the scars. We have the inabilities and the disabilities. We've got the PTSD and the MST, and the list is long. So why don't we foster these young ladies and help them continue to serve? I am so excited, not only for our vice president, I'm excited, Kathy, and I was talking about last night, Congress. We know that we've got people that don't look like us that are not wanting to put an African-American woman on the Supreme Court justice. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Come on. She's capable.
Yeah.
She's worthy of it.
Mm-hmm.
And our young women need to know lessons that we've learned, that they can migrate through those systems and do it successfully.
Exactly.
That's one of the things I really like about Angela's story, when she goes like, and she said, you know what? I came to the place I wasn't going to let anybody else tell me what was not going to happen.
Right.
She did the paperwork. First, she had to do the research because nobody was holding it and pushing her out there and say, hey, we think that you are capable. We see your leadership qualities. No, she had to do that, and it wasn't easy. So how many other African-American women can go through that same opportunity and do it with ease now, because it's already been proven? The system has already been proven. Let's help them migrate and get beyond where we were. I think every generation should forepass the previous generation. So I'm not selfish by no means. Her war too is just that. Her war too. Let's teach and mentor other women that have a desire to join any branch of the military. Let's help them be successful. Let's not let our pain go to waste. God kept us here, especially through this pandemic. Oh yeah, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. I am all about it. Okay. So yeah.
And so you
join us
said,
tomorrow for the celebration, 7 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah, you said something very critical that and that we needed across the board. So I'm going to be that one who speaks up for the civilians as well. We need to teach our young people, and even not just our young people, those women who are out there struggling, trying to figure out how to navigate through all of this. How do they navigate through all of this? We have to teach them how to do that. We have to teach them to be strategic and intentional. We have to teach them to be self-aware, know what makes them tick, know what ticks them off, and what the triggers are, so that they are able to navigate through this successfully. So I just think this is a conversation. Well, you guys already know. You're welcome to come back, because I could do a marathon of these interviews, because we need to continue to have this conversation. We're celebrating because of the victory that we'll have tomorrow. But this conversation,
we'll be back.
Yeah, it goes way beyond just one conversation. We want a voice to be heard. If we want to come together and really become a movement, we got to continue to have these conversations out loud and publicly expose sisters not loving sisters, and try to really teach us the importance of together we win. Teamwork makes the dream work. And then know how the system works against us so that we can know how to make it work for us, right? So we need to do that, and we need to have those critical conversations. And so, ladies, I just love you so. My God, I love you. You just don't know. Mwah! I love you so very much. Each and every one of your stories have spoke to me. Forgive me, because my schedule is insane. It's not even busy. It's gone insane. But no, I've been watching your messages back and forth in the messenger and just been loving it. I was like, I don't have time to respond, but I'm watching. And so, I love you. You are my sisters in her ward too. And I'm just so excited, so honored. You have no idea. Just honored. I'm extremely proud of you. I'm extremely proud of your leadership. I'm extremely proud in how you've shown up for your co-authors as a visionary, staying the course, not giving up, caving in and quit. And you've just set an example for staying the course and seeing the victory at the end. And so without further ado, listen, it's time for them to level up and see us coming, right? Look, we're out of here, ladies and gentlemen. See us on the other side of victory tomorrow. We will be #1 bestsellers are in the house. I can have it all. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Level up, 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 level up. Oh, this got me so yummy. Oh, this stuff's so yummy. I know you want this yummy. Got me all in your tummy. Level up, 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 level up.